Tonight, the Police Federation calls for most officers to have access to guns. The head of the Federation also said anyone who brandishes a knife should risk being shot. Also on tonight's programme, concern from employees and investors after it emerges BrewDog could be sold off.
She's called Trivial Pursuit.
We meet the team rehabilitating seal pups abandoned on our beaches.
And in sport, the Premiership title race is hotting up. We reflect on the weekend's results for the top three.
I'm Laura Goodwin. This is Reporting Scotland. Unlike other countries, here in Scotland, police officers don't routinely carry guns. Instead, armed officers are deployed only when the Chief Constable deems it necessary. But the Scottish Police Federation is calling for greater access to firearms for officers, they say because of the levels of violence the force and the public are facing. The Scottish government say Police Scotland has proportionate armed capability and are committed to keeping it as an unarmed service. Ben Phillip reports.
Seeing police carrying guns is relatively rare in Scotland. Only around 500 specialist officers are issued with firearms at all.
Don't carry a knife, don't produce a knife in the streets of Scotland, because the tactics that are in place now are that you could be shot.
The Scottish Police Federation is calling for greater access due to rising levels of violence.
We have an incident that takes place, sometimes even within towns or cities in Scotland. It will be a long time before a firearms team is available, and by giving normal police officers the access to guns, and trained officers that is, that will allow for better protection and better safety for the public in Scotland.
The SPF is backing a model used in New Zealand. Guns are stored in all police vehicles in locked cabinets, and officers can seek permission to access them in emergencies. But how do people here feel about the idea?
I do understand that obviously the protection of police officers, because they do have a hard job as well, so I suppose it's a really fine balance, isn't it? Yeah.
I think that would just escalate gun violence across the board.
Well, if there's more terrorism, if there's more people being more aggressive with guns, I would think so,
I wouldn't like for us to get towards America, simply speaking, but on the other hand, some people might feel safer if they knew that police can respond.
The Scottish Violence Reduction Unit said there is no robust evidence that putting more guns into everyday policing reduces knife crime, but any shift in that direction would carry major costs for training, accreditation, equipment and oversight running into millions of pounds. Adding, if we want to reduce the carrying of weapons, then we must denormalise it and not make it normal. Police Scotland said all firearms officers undergo training which focuses on de-escalation and communication when responding to potentially dangerous incidents, and it would listen to the SPF's proposals. The Scottish Government says Police Scotland has an appropriate and proportionate armed policing capability, but by and large the force continues to be unarmed and its position on that won't change. Ben Phillip, Reporting Scotland, Glasgow.
A pathologist has told a court about the moment she opened a body bag and realised a man had been shot. Police initially assessed the death of Brian Lowe as non-suspicious. Dr Tamara McNamee was giving evidence in the trial of David Campbell, who was accused of killing the 65-year-old in Aberfeldy exactly 2 years ago today. Mr Campbell denies the charges. Suzanne Allen has more.
Brian Lowe was discovered lying on grass beside a track near Aberfeldy on the morning of the 17th of February 2024. His death was initially not thought to be suspicious. Today the court heard from Dr Tamara McNamee. She was tasked with doing a single doctor autopsy on Brian Lowe. She said immediately on seeing Mr Lowe's body there were facial injuries and a shot inside the bag. It was at this point she realised it was a suspicious death and escalated it immediately. Mr Lowe's cause of death was shotgun wounds to the neck and chest. Dr McNamee told the court 65-year-old Mr Lowe had shotgun pellets in his right lung, which resulted in bruising. He also suffered injuries to his arms and face. She was asked by prosecutor Greg Farrell how quickly death would have occurred. Dr McNamee said she couldn't be exact, but it would have been rapid. It would have been seconds or minutes. Under cross-examination, Tony Lenihan KC put it to Dr McNamee that times of death are nothing like on TV, to which she replied yes. She stated that times of death were better determined by witnesses, social media and banking activity. Jurors were told that at 4:52 p.m. on the 16th of February, Mr Lowe's phone activity had stopped. David Campbell has denied killing Brian Lowe and has lodged a special defence of alibi in relation to the murder charge. Suzanne Allen reporting Scotland at the High Court in Glasgow.
Some of the day's other stories now. A new campaign warning boys and men about the harms of online sexist and misogynistic content is being launched by the Scottish Government. The adverts will encourage them to think before interacting with harmful material, highlighting the damage it causes women and girls in their lives. The First Minister says it's deeply concerning young boys and men can be exposed to such content even when they've not been searching for it. Scotland's Environmental Agency has ordered the operators of the Dounreay nuclear complex in Caithness to review some of their processes after a potential leak of radioactive water. SEPA says there was a small leak from one of the site's carbon bed filters in June 2024, although no increase in radioactivity in groundwater downstream was detected. Dounreay says they're checking other parts of the site for similar issues. It's estimated Aberdeen's long-delayed new maternity hospital will open in June next year. New timescales have been issued for the estimated completion dates of both the Baird Family Hospital and Anchor Cancer Treatment Centre, which is expected to be up and running this July. A recent report says that based on learnings from the Scottish Hospitals Inquiry, these dates will be subject to weekly reviews. The project's cost is now forecast to be £438.6 million, £15 million more than last month's forecast. BrewDog has been described as a business unicorn. At one time, the company was said to be valued at close to £1 billion. It started when two friends set up a small brewery in Fraserburgh. That grew to be a household name and a global success. But now, unions representing BrewDog employees say they're really concerned after learning the craft beer giant could be broken up and sold off. Our business correspondent David Henderson is with us now. David, what are staff's concerns?
Well, they're wondering if BrewDog can bounce back because this company is under pressure. It's failed to make a profit for the last 5 years or so. In that time, it's lost almost £150 million and it's loaded with debt. And now there's concern that latest efforts to secure new investment could see BrewDog broken up just 20 years since it was founded. Now, the BrewDog story is a remarkable one. It started in a tiny brewery in a garage in Fraserburgh. It was marketed from the outset as a punk brand selling punk beer. We were told it was very different from all the other beer brands, and it was very, very popular. And within a decade or so, the value of the company soared to around £1 billion. Then it ran into trouble, with some ex-workers claiming that there was a toxic workplace culture, something management denied, and it's been struggling for years. 1,400 people still work for BrewDog, and some there are really concerned.
We've been inundated with messages, really upset workers who do not know what's going on. All they've received is an email from the CEO letting them know after the press stories came out.
And David, there's also a lot of small investors. What does this all mean for them?
Well, it could be problematic because big new investors may not want to keep BrewDog intact. They may want to see it broken up and sold off piece by piece. And there is a lot to sell because BrewDog own a large brewery in Aberdeenshire, in Ellen, 3 more of them around the world. There's a chain of bars here. It also owns bars in America and Germany and Australia. But if all of that is dismantled, it could affect ordinary investors. And there are a lot of them because over the years, they've put in something like £90 million into the company through what was called the Equity for Punks scheme. Something like 200,000 people own shares in the company in that way. So there's concern those shares could lose value if BrewDog is taken apart. Now, we have heard from BrewDog. They say their actions will strengthen the long-term future of the brand and its operations, and they say their breweries and bars will continue to operate as normal. So they're pushing on, and all those employees and investors will have to watch this space and see what happens.
OK, David Henderson, many thanks indeed. And you can catch up with the Disclosure podcast series, Good Ship BrewDog, on BBC Sounds. The wife of the late rugby legend and motor neuron disease campaigner Doddy Weir says for the first time she feels mentally ready to take on a 750-mile cycling challenge. Cathy Weir will cycle from the Scottish borders to Dublin to raise funds for the charity her husband founded. She will be among hundreds of riders participating in Doddy's Triple Crown 2026 and spoke to Amy Irons earlier.
It's always there, and I think that really, now is a time to step up and try and help keep the awareness out there and hopefully raise quite a lot of money to help research. I think that, there's always a story out there, sadly, that there's something, but for us, the motor neuron story is still with us. And if we can help anybody, suffering and the families who are looking after people who are suffering, it's important that we keep doing that. And I think, I'm doing this cycle. It's not going to be easy for me personally, but it's a cycle, and that will be the end of it, whereas everybody else's suffering still goes on.
And you can watch that full interview on tonight's Reporting Scotland news at 7 over on the BBC Scotland channel at 7 o'clock. Now, Aberdeen freestyle skier Kirsty Muir is hoping to increase Team GB's Olympic medal haul this evening. The 21-year-old is currently competing in the women's big air final, and members of her home club have gathered to cheer her on, as has our reporter Rachel Bell. Rachel, I imagine they have everything crossed for her tonight.
Fingers and toes, Laura. Yes, excitement is really building here in Aberdeen as dozens of Kirsty's friends and young fans, as you can see, have come out to watch her compete, but they're having to wait a little bit longer than planned because of the blizzard conditions over there. It has delayed the start of the competition. We're hearing that will hopefully start around 7 o'clock tonight. It should have started at 6:30. Now, Kirsty's skiing journey started when she was just 3 years old. Her playground was the dry ski slope just down the road from here. And tonight, many of her coaches and those who trained with her are here to watch her compete in her second Winter Olympics, potentially for a medal. And one of those who is watching her tonight, who's feeling a bit nervous, is Zoe Silk, who was a former coach. Now, Zoe, how are you feeling? This kind of delay to the competition is just adding to the drama, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. It's just adding to it. We're all super excited here and getting really nervous, but really excited to watch Kirsty put down her tricks tonight.
And Kirsty qualified fourth for this final, didn't she? It's a really tough top four.
A chance for a medal.
We all saw how gutted she was when she just missed out on that medal in the slope style. How difficult do you think it would have been for her to just park that and focus on today's competition?
Yeah, we were all really gutted for her, but we're all so proud of her from what she's achieved. But if anyone can park that and go, look, I've reflected on it, it's Kirsty. She can totally come back and go, I've got this, it's a new competition, I'm going to go for it. Yeah.
Obviously, whatever happens tonight, I think what she means to this sport, and particularly to this sport in the northeast of Scotland, is clear from the faces we see behind you. I mean, what an inspiration, an Aberdeen girl that's competing in the Olympics. It's such an inspiration for them, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. She's the kid from the dry slope that had a dream, and she did it, and she's gone out and done her dream, and we're all incredibly proud of her. The amount of kids or adults that have put on a set of skis or a set of snowboards just because of Kirsty, it'll be great. So her legacy will always live on in snow sports.
Amazing, thank you. I've got butterflies, I'm sure you do too. It's a very exciting evening tonight. Will Kirsty Muir come home with a medal to Aberdeen? Well, you have to stay tuned. That competition hopefully starting at 7 o'clock tonight.
OK, Rachel, many thanks indeed. Tonight's main news again. The Scottish Police Federation is calling for greater access to firearms for officers. They say because of the levels of violence the force are facing. The Scottish Government say there is proportionate armed capability and are committed to keeping it as an unarmed service.
And coming up in sport, we look back at a stunning win for Scotland's rugby team, but at the Winter Olympics, are Team GB's curlers in trouble?
Now, as the weather improves, many of us might be opting for a walk on the beach. But what do you do if you come across a seal pup on its own? Well, an animal charity says more human interference and an increasing number of dog attacks are contributing to the challenge of rehabilitating baby seals. SSPCA National Wildlife Rescue Centres have treated almost 100 grey seal pups during their peak rescue season, following an unprecedented influx of harbour seal pups last year. Stephen Godden has more.
The grey seal shuffle towards freedom. It's the end of a rehabilitation journey that began inside the seal hospital at the SSPCA Rescue Centre. Vulnerable pups are often injured when they arrive, dog attacks are increasingly common, others have been abandoned.
We're just getting these guys up to a weight of around 20 kilograms before we then move them out to their next stage.
After working with unprecedented numbers of harbour seal pups, the staff are now well into grey seal season.
Every single pen completely full, and when they first start coming in and they're very, very young, you're feeding them until 11 o'clock at night most of the time.
Successful feeding is key to rehabilitation. It's not always easy. While they might look cute, grey seals' instinct is to bite humans. One innovation, however, has been bottle feeding a handful of the youngest pups.
A perfect wee seal came in. It was premature, so it had no teeth, so it wasn't aggressive or anything like that. And I think I was feeding her and noticed that she was suckling on me quite a lot, so I just went and grabbed a bottle and she suckled the whole feed straight away.
Other rescue centres in Europe and Canada have shown interest in the bottle feeding technique, which the SSPCA stress is still at an early stage.
It's a more natural way of feeding seals. It's more similar to what they would do in the wild, but there are downsides as well. It's not as quick, so what we would typically do is just put a little tube down into the stomach and blast the milk in. It's a bit slower than that, obviously, so you're spending more time with the seal, which is potentially more stressful, but also it's more natural for them to feed that way.
Scotland is home to 90% of the UK's seal population, and while the grey seal numbers have bounced back in recent decades, there's concern about harbour seal numbers. Experts say seal rescue and release offers valuable insight.
For very certain circumstances, for harbour seals, for small populations, then rescue and release can potentially have an impact. But more importantly, rehab does actually give us an early warning system of why seals are coming in, is there disease outbreak and things like that. So it can be very useful.
The SSPCA hope that from a distance, the public will support their efforts to help the seals they care for reach this moment.
It is such hard work to do seal rehab, and it takes its toll on all of us mentally, physically, but getting to see them go, especially when they do that wee look back, it's just amazing. Thank you.
Stephen Godden, reporting Scotland.
Oh, that last little one, wasn't sure whether it was coming or going. Right, time now to get tonight's sport with Jane. And my goodness, this Scottish Premiership's getting exciting, isn't it?
It absolutely is. What a title race we have on our hands after another pulsating weekend of Premiership football. The top three are now tightly bunched at the top of the table. Hearts are still top, but only just. Well, Celtic looked down and out at Rugby Park when Kilmarnock took a 2-goal lead, but Martin O'Neill's side completed a second-half comeback with the last kick of the ball in the 97th minute. Julian Arohu joining the Celtic supporters in celebration. Another late show for the defending champions.
You can't keep doing that. We've got to put in the full 90 minutes, and you might get your reward after. You might not do, but you can't play in just little spurts like that there and hope that something comes at the end. The spirit the players have shown has just been absolutely fantastic. And I coached a really top quality side here 20 odd years ago, who had loads of spirit, loads of resilience, loads of ability. These lads here they're emulating that anyway, if in many aspects sometimes surpassing.
Well, that 97th minute winner was Celtic's third straight injury time goal. 3 goals that have helped them earn a place in the quarter-finals of the Scottish Cup and notched 4 points to their Premiership points total. Well, Junior Adamo spoiled a Dundee upset in the Cup with a 97 minutes on the clock, with Celtic eventually prevailing in extra time. Then Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, there he is there, finding the net in the 92nd minute for a winner on his debut against Livingston. Before that goal yesterday, Julian Arohu, who won it at Rugby Park to put Celtic in a great position to successfully defend their Premiership crown.
I think the momentum's with Celtic, but look, points are nothing. The games in hand don't mean anything unless you win the games. Look, Hearts are top league just now, and they've got, like I said, they've got the easiest run of fixtures, I think, although difficult next game against Falkirk with a Falkirk team flying high. But Hearts are the ones that are, at the minute, is theirs to throw away.
Now, 5 goals at Rugby Park, and Rangers and Hearts served up 1 more at Ibrox, with the hosts' incredible turnaround under Danny Rule on show yet again, as Yusuf Chermiti's hat-trick helped Rangers to a 4-2 win. There was no sign of a wobble from leaders Hearts when they took an early lead and then went in front again to make it 2-1. But a deafening home crowd saw Chermiti draw Rangers level before the Portuguese striker added his second and third of the afternoon.
I think everyone who likes football and is not involved likes this race. I think this is good for you, and it will be a great finish in this league. And we are in the race. 2 months ago, nobody thought about this, and we showed our development. I think today, good game.
We still feel, although we've lost the game today, we're not too despondent, because I see enough courage, I see enough in the performance. And I still feel with the fixtures we've got between now and the split, particularly so many at home, that we can win games that can keep the whole thing moving along for us.
Well, Motherwell, meanwhile, continued to be best of the rest. What a season they're having, and that continued with a 2-0 win at home to Aberdeen. Could they mount a title challenge? Well, they're certainly sure to play a part in the destination of the trophy come the end of the season. They're now 6 unbeaten in the league, and this is what it all means for the table. Kilmarnock stay in 11th after being denied some priceless points against Celtic. Motherwell have a game in hand to go 7 points off the top. As for the top 3, well, Hearts still lead the way, but Rangers are just 2 back, while Celtic are only 1 point further back, but they have a game in hand. To rugby, and Scotland forward Rory Darge says they'll show Wales the utmost respect when they head to Cardiff this weekend, despite their opponents losing their last 13 Six Nations games. Well, the Scots will be brimming with confidence following their terrific bonus point victory over England, a real turnaround from their opening day defeat to Italy. Well, Gregor Townsend has taken his squad to Spain to train in warmer weather before they fly to Wales for Saturday's encounter.
Although Wales were on the wrong side of a scoreline last week, they're a good team, and I think anyone on their day is a massive threat, and we're just going to take it. I know it's a cliche in sport, but it's a cliche for a reason. You have to take it week by week, because if you look too far ahead, then you'll trip up on what's right in front of you. So Wales this week is the ultimate focus.
Now, away from the blizzards of the Italian mountains, it's nice and dry inside the curling arena, where Team GB's women are on the ice right now against Switzerland in their latest round-robin match. Well, they suffered a surprise defeat to Norway this afternoon that leaves them fighting to qualify for the last 4.
We've been around the block a wee bit. We know what it's like to try and bounce back in games after big mistakes. So there's nothing new there. It's just obviously disappointing to make those mistakes in a stage like this, where we've been working for it for quite a while.
We are playing well. I know we've lost a few games, but we are playing well. We're doing a lot of right things. We just got to, I guess, just find that little extra inch.
Well, we'll let you know how the women curlers are faring there on the ice right now, and fingers crossed those blizzards clear up. My goodness, treacherous out there.
I know. Jane, thank you very much indeed. Callum's here, and on Mondays we wear blue, don't we? That seems to be blue skies to match.
Yes, sky blue. We got the memo for tomorrow. A good day on the way, but before we get there, some will see some snow tonight, particularly Highland, Grampian, wee cold front pushing south, and there was some earlier in Shetland there. A beautiful picture from our weather watcher in Baltasound. Hello, folks. Cold Arctic air floods south tonight. We'll see frost, ice and, as mentioned, snow for some on this cold front as it pushes in to the north this evening, but it tends to peter out as it works south through the early hours, clearing out into the North Sea, and a ridge of high pressure affording a fine but cold day tomorrow. There's our earlier rain and upland snow that's still across southern Scotland at the moment, giving some snow over higher ground like the M74. That clears through in its wake. An ice warning tonight, southern Scotland in the north. A snow and ice warning because this evening we've got this trough of low pressure moving in, mainly just sleety rain for windward coast, but widely as it comes inland, sleet, snow right down to sea level for some of you, some accumulations. Pushing south though, breaking up as it does to south of the Highlands, so not much into southern Scotland bar, maybe a stray flurry before it's out into the North Sea. Otherwise, it's cold, clear, frosty, strong northerly winds may get near gale force for northeastern coast and the Northern Isles. Still that strong northerly wind here tomorrow morning and a few snow showers North Highland, Grampian, but they'll quickly ease. We've got a ridge of high pressure and after cold, frosty, icy start, a lovely day, broad day. You'll be lucky if you see a cloud in the sky. Blue sky, sunshine, lifting temperatures to 4, 5, 6 degrees Celsius. Highest towards the west coast. Maybe just 2 or 3 for some inland parts of the north where we've got snow. Just 2 there for Lerwick. We're knocking on the door from the northwest into tomorrow night. Further wintry showers here. Elsewhere, it's clear, it's cold, very cold where you've got snow in the north, maybe down to -10 over some snowfields there. Not so cold for southwestern coastal areas because a gusty southeasterly wind will be developing, a veil of cloud ahead of this front, which will be knocking on the door on Wednesday, threatening some precipitation to southwestern coastal areas. Should any come inland, a snow flurry. But for most of us, it's cold, a grey day, that southeasterly back once more, which means best of the conditions. Yes, you've guessed it, northwest Scotland, place to be. Laura.
Apparently. Listen, I'm thinking Burgundy tomorrow. Does that work for you?
That sounds good
Perfect.
to me, yeah.
Great. Callum, thank you very much indeed. Now, tonight's main news again. The Scottish Police Federation is calling for greater access to firearms for officers. They say because of the levels of violence the force and the public are facing. The Scottish Government say Police Scotland has proportionate armed capability and are committed to keeping it as an unarmed service. Callum and I will be here with your late news at around 10:30 tonight. Join us if you can. Until then, from everyone on the team, whatever you're doing, enjoy your evening. Bye-bye.